What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB, and more specifically, an episode of Let's Talk Dynasty. This week, another Dynasty trade review show. We got 10 trades submitted by you guys in the Discord, trying to pull those trades out of the Discord and tell you guys who won or lost. I saw a comment on the last episode that says nobody wins a trade or loses a trade in May. That's damn sure facts. However, what's the fun in that? We got to talk about the trades. We got to talk about how people are winning and losing today. And then obviously talk about some of the long form stuff. So that's what we're doing today. If this is your first time at the channel, hit the subscribe button. But other than that, let's get MFGDs into the building and let's start talking some Dynasty trades. Or how we doing?
You can win and lose trades in May. I'm just saying that right now.
Somebody said we got to let it breathe. We need to let people, have time change things.
Nah, man, there's some trades that from the minute they get accepted, it's an L and it's going to cost them next season.
And that could change over time. You could draft somebody today or trade for somebody today and then tomorrow they tear their ACL and the value plummets and it could change over time. But today, we want to talk about that. So that's what we're going to be doing today. I got 10 trades loaded up, man. Let's just hop right into it. The first trade that we have here on the screen is a 12-team super flex, full PPR, no tight end premium, start 10 type of format. You and I actually talked off camera in a text message earlier this week about this specific player, but Odunze was bought for a 2026 first and a 2026 second. You're the Bears guy. How you feel?
I think this is a fair trade. It could have worked with, it's 2025 draft or so. Let's say for people who, for some reason, didn't do their draft yet. I mean, this either is a high 25 first, or you do something like this where you get a 26 second and a 26 first. So I think this is a fair trade, dude. Like, I don't have any issues with it.
Yeah, I mean, I texted you and I said that I felt like Odunze and the Luther Burden kind of thing has made some people feel a little bit less confident in Rome. And I also mentioned at the same time, and you said we should just be going to buy low on Rome. And I said just send it any 2026 first for him. If you can just send a first for him and have somebody scared enough to re-roll, that's something that I would be trying to do. So I tried to go out in a couple of my leagues and shoot a first round pick over to the Odunze owners just to see if anybody would bite. I didn't do it with you where you have Odunze because I know you're not biting on that type of deal, but I sent it out to everybody. Nobody was biting in our leagues, but this is kind of proof that if you do have people in your league that are a little bit nervous, it is possible. You may have to throw the extra fluff in there with that second round pick, but there's proof that you can go buy Odunze right now if you still believe in the prospect.
100% agree. I don't think there's any reason why people should at this point be out on Odunze. I think he's done enough in his rookie season to kind of show that, you should at least still have some faith in him. Meanwhile, Luther Burden, he's just drafted. He does have some slight off the field concerns as far as motor and work ethic and motivation. I think he has a good work ethic. I think he's a powder.
He's a wide receiver, bro.
Yeah. He be loafing. So, I mean, and those type of things tend to not go over well, especially for a head coach who his slogan is no block, no rock. So yeah, man. I hope he don't think he gonna come in and have that mindset because we ain't gonna have to worry about Rome if that's the case at all.
Yeah, I mean, look, dude, I think Malik Neighbors said it best on a recent podcast with Carmelo Anthony. He said, I'm not gonna speak for all wide receivers. Actually, fuck that. I'm gonna speak for all wide receivers. We're divas. And that's the way that he said it. So Luther Burden, he fits that mold. But as far as Odunze goes, I think, Rome on the outside, Burden in the slot, mixing in with DJ Moore in the slot, who's also going to play on that, kind of that Z wide receiver role. Rome's the X, man. He's the X, and I think he's got a pretty solidified role out there. So we'll see how it happens. But I like this trade for the Odunze owner. And if you're nervous about Rome, this isn't horrible compensation to get back. I think you said it best. It's probably fair. But let's go on to this next trade here. The next trade that we have loaded up is going to be Amon-Ra St. Brown, man. I feel like Amon-Ra St. Brown has been on a lot of episodes lately. A lot of people are selling Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I don't like it, to be honest. 12-team Superflex, full PPR, half-point tight end premium, and a start 11. You get Amon-Ra. You have to give up Bo Nix and Stephon Diggs. I mean, what do you think, man? What do you think as far as, it's a super flex league, so, getting Bo Nix is pretty solid in a super flex, but is this enough to get rid of Amon-Ra?
No, like I understand the super flex. Bo Nix is definitely not the quarterback that I would be moving Amon-Ra for, and Diggs is definitely not enough to make up that gap. That's just my opinion. The next most important thing after a quarterback is super flex, you can make the argument for tight end, especially since it's tight end premium. But to me, the second most important thing in super flex is having a stud wide receiver. And even with the bump from being put in the super flex spot for Bo Nix, I still think Amon-Ra St. Brown takes that as far as the value side of it.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to play the game, bro, because I feel like Amon-Ra is getting disrespected this offseason. Maybe it is the departure of Ben Johnson. Maybe that's what it is, but I don't believe that it's going to affect Amon-Ra like that. But let's play the game. Chase and Jefferson, you're taking those two over Amon-Ra. I think here's kind of where we can at least kind of start a conversation, but how do you feel about Neighbors versus St. Brown?
I feel like those are the top four guys right there.
I would take Neighbors over St. Brown. And then I think CeeDee Lamb deserves to be in the conversation here.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But then the list here at Keep Trade Cut is like BTJ, Puka, Drake London. Those are the next couple guys.
Yeah, I think CeeDee Lamb, Neighbors, and Amon-Ra St. Brown are interchangeable, and you could just switch them around based on preference.
I would put Neighbors in a tier of his own, but I think you can make the argument of Lamb and St. Brown. But I feel like either way that we cut it, we're talking about St. Brown as a top 5 dynasty wide receiver, no matter what. We're talking about him as a top 5 guy. And so it just feels crazy to me that, we're willing to keep moving away from a guy who's given us top 5 season after top 5 season back to back. He's giving us, 100 plus catch seasons with 1,000 plus yard seasons. He's 25 years old, folks. He's not old. He's not 28, 29, 30, 31. He's 25. He's going to be around for a long, long time. Maybe longer than your whole fucking league survives, to be honest. Some of these leagues out here lasting 4 or 5 years and then they're folding. Amon-Ra St. Brown might be elite throughout the entirety of that entire league. So I just think we've gotten to a point here where Amon-Ra St. Brown is, I'm going to stamp him as a buy low. I think he's a buy low. I think people are undervaluing Amon-Ra St. Brown, and it might sound weird calling him a buy low because he's obviously an elite asset and you have to pay up to get him, but I just don't believe he's properly valued. So I've seen him on a lot of these trade shows. I think he's in this trade show again. Somebody else selling him again in this trade show later on, so spoiler, but I'm getting sick of seeing Amon-Ra go for, 80% of the value that he's probably worth. So I'm going to say go buy Amon-Ra if you can. Seems like every league, every, time that he hits the trade show, I'm siding with the Amon-Ra St. Brown side. Just go buy him right now. That's where I'm at.
Yeah. If somebody's selling him for cheap or for less than, go buy him.
I bought him in a league this offseason. You know what I paid? I paid Marvin Harrison Jr. and Stephon Diggs, and I got Amon-Ra St. Brown. I love Marv. I think Marv can take the jump. Amon-Ra St. Brown's already a top 5 guy. Let's go on to the next trade here. I got 12 teams, super flex, full PPR, tight end premium. Team number 1 is an orphan team. They took over. They're trying to get some draft picks. So, they took over this roster for somebody, trying to blow it up. They get the 108 and the 201. They give up Josh Jacobs and Justin Fields. How do you feel about that, knowing that you're an orphan squad, getting rid of some of these guys?
Orphan squad, getting rid of some of these guys. I mean, yeah, I'm doing that all day. I'm taking them picks, bro. I'm taking them picks. I understand. I got an argument. Well, I don't know if I want to say it's an argument because I don't even think anybody responded, but I kind of sent you a screenshot, and what I said, somebody had their top, I can't remember if it was 10 or 15 or 8 dynasty quarterback list, and Justin Fields is up there, and I was just like, yeah, this is trash. And, put down the, I can't say it on YouTube, put down the paraphernalia before you make this list. And Fields is on there. And I understood where a lot of the people who were commenting came from. Yes, Justin Fields is probably, if given all the opportunity, he's probably going to be near the upper end of fantasy football quarterbacks. We get it. But what you have to hear what I'm saying is that Fields is a volatile asset, meaning that this asset could be replaced or diminished at any given time. He's like a quick shot. So when it comes to that, if you're getting any type of future capital, like draft related or young player, I will be in pro of moving Fields for it. And Jacobs is a running back. Simple as that. So yeah, I like the picks on this side.
Yeah, I mean, I like the Jacobs. I would view it kind kind of as Jacobs for the 108. You kind of re-roll that into Judkins or Henderson if he falls, or maybe it's Igbuka and you build around the wide receiver. I don't mind that at all. Fields for the 201, it feels like it might be a slight bit light on the compensation because of the points that you can get. But like you said, he's a volatile asset, and he's not somebody that you're, very confident in building around when it comes to your dynasty squad. So you can flip him for the 201, maybe turn that 201 into a guy like Colston Loveland or a guy like Tyler Warren or whatever, especially because it's a tight end premium. You go get one of those guys, or maybe you just turn Justin Fields into Jackson Dart and make Jackson Dart your QB of the future there that you can hold on a taxi squad while Russell Wilson finishes his career, and then you get some value, insulation there over time. I don't think it's a bad deal. I think considering the names that you could throw into some of those picks, it makes sense. And as an orphan team, when you're, coming in, taking over a roster and trying to shed, the weight of what the old owner did and the reason why they probably gave this roster away, and then get some new life onto the roster, I don't mind this deal at all.
Yeah, me either, to be honest. I'll roll with it. Those two assets don't excite me too much, but those draft picks, especially now that you mentioned that you could roll Jacobs into getting Henderson or a guy like that, someone who I feel like could be a lot more valuable to him. So
yeah, at least, have some more shelf life on it over the next couple of years. But let's go to this next trade. 10-team Superflex, full PPR. There is no tight end premium in this league, but it is start 13. So really, really large starting lineups here, actually. You get Breece Hall in a 2026 second. You give up the 108, Tank Bigsby, and Xavier Legette. We just talked about that 108. It could be, Henderson, Igbuka, Judkins. You're swapping that now. Instead of it being Josh Jacobs, it's Breece Hall, and then you're getting that 2026 second for Legette and Bigsby, basically. I mean, how are you feeling here, man? How do you feel about this?
I mean, on the surface, it would seem like the Breece Hall side is easy, but then again, maybe not. I don't want to say I don't like Bigsby or Legette. They just don't do much for me. So I'm really just focusing on that 108 for Breece Hall in that second. And that's not enough for me. So then you have to add those other assets in it. But me personally, if this trade came across, I don't necessarily know why. It seems like as far he's the running back of Amon-Ra St. Brown in terms of it seems like a lot of people are moving him this offseason. I'm not sure why he's been moved like that, but this is a guy that we were talking about as like a top 4 or 5 fantasy running back.
Yeah, I mean, last year we had him as, last year he was probably just behind Gibbs and Bijan. Like, it was Gibbs, Bijan, and then Breece. Like, that's kind of the guys that we were looking at.
Yeah, and I for damn sure know that they weren't moving last season. They weren't moving Breece for Bigsby, Legette, and the first. Like, I don't think anybody in the league I'm in would have accepted that. Then you're getting a second on top of it, so it's just hard to see, man. But me personally, just to circle back around to what I would do is I would lead the Breece Hall side.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to account for the fact that he did have a down year. Banged up a little bit. Some people, that just scared him, I think. But I agree with you. Everybody has been fading Breece Hall really hard all offseason. One of the first videos that I made after the NFL playoffs was like some veteran buys that I felt like were being faded too hard at that point in time. And that was early in the offseason. And Breece Hall was there where it was like, you should be buying Breece Hall because everybody hates him basically at this point in time. And, even getting a deal like this, I see the vision where you get a guy like Judkins or you get a guy like Henderson and you're like, okay, maybe I can get a better asset here. I think that's fine if you feel like they're going to be a better asset than Breece Hall. But I think there's a lot of risk in that. And I still believe that Breece Hall is a player that's probably going to be, a top 10 type of guy at the position next year. Like, the NFL draft has come and went. They haven't added anybody as competition in that backfield unless you want to count Donovan Edwards, who's a UDFA who ends up landing in that backfield. Free agency, they don't add anybody in the backfield. There's been a little bit of tough coach speak, I think, from, Aaron Glenn, but that's Aaron Glenn's, persona, man. Like, that's what he does. He's a tough coach speak type of guy. And I just think you're kind of out of your damn mind if you think a guy like Braylon Allen or a guy like Isaiah Davis is going to come in here and just keep Breece Hall off of the football field. Those guys are not keeping him off of the football field. Can those guys be involved? Absolutely. But I still think that Breece Hall is going to be a running back that's going to be getting goal line work and things like that. I hear the argument of, Justin Fields is the QB, so maybe there's not as many checkdowns and maybe there's not as many, red zone trips and things like that, fine. But at the end of the day, I think unless you're guaranteed to get like Judkins or something there, if it's Egbuka, I'm not doing it. If it's Judkins and Henderson, I'll listen to it. But I think the Breece Hall is being undervalued, and I still think the Breece Hall is a buy at this point in time. So I'm going to deem this as a fair trade. I think there's ways where you can break even. Both sides kind of like what they get depending on the direction that they're going. But it's tough, man. I think Breece is still undervalued.
I think he's undervalued too, man. And here's another thing I want to add too when it comes to Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson. I think you have to factor in Aaron Rodgers' tax. I think that some guys probably played a little bit worse because of him. I understand Aaron Rodgers, when you look at it under a microscope, his numbers weren't that bad, but I don't think dudes that wasn't former Packers is riding for Aaron Rodgers like that, especially these young guys. So,
well,
yeah.
let's just, I'm just looking at Keep Trade Cut, and they got currently right now at the time of this recording, we got Breece Hall as running back 9 in Dynasty. So I feel like there's probably some value to be had already. It's a little bit of rookie fever, and I get it. But like Hampton, Henderson are both over him already. Achan's over him. Bucky Irving's over him. Yeah, we got Genty, Barkley, those guys make sense, but there's just, I feel like he's a little bit undervalued at the moment. In the trade market, it feels like people are looking to trade you Breece Hall, and you can take advantage of that. Just probably how you can take advantage of Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I'll be honest, if you're out there buying Amon-Ra and Breece Hall and you're putting them in your lineups this year, I don't think you're going to be upset with what they give you from a point standpoint. But let's go to this trade here. We have 12 teams, super flex, full PPR, no tight end premium. Again, this time it's start 9. But we have Marvin Harrison Jr. being received with the 207 and the 310. What they gave up to get Marvin in those late round picks are the 103, the 210, and the 308. So I'll kind of take lead here. This is very easy to me because the 207 and the 210.
I think it's easy to me too. Go ahead.
Yeah, look, 207, 210, not a big difference. You could probably just cross those out. 310, 308, not a big difference. Cross them out. It's Marvin for the 103. How you feel?
Yep. I think it comes down to who do you rather have, Marvin Harrison or Ted McMillan? I think it comes down to as simple as that. You could say Cam Ward, like any of those guys is going to go in that Trav. Any of those guys are going to go in that 103 slot, and it's going to come down to whether or not you like those players more than Marvin Harrison. What would I do? I like Marvin Harrison more than any player that they could get at 103. So it's a slight edge, but this trade by no means is far off. I think it's trade of anything else is probably kind of even, but me personally, I'm taking Marvin Harrison because I think he would still be the most talented guy as far as a fantasy football asset in this past draft if he was there. So
yeah, I agree with you. And to me, it does come down to, I was thinking the same guy. I was debating putting Tet there. I was debating putting Trav there. You could put a couple guys in that mold because I think after Genty comes off of the 101, it's basically 4 guys that you could consider, from 102 to 105. I think that's kind of the tier that we've come up with. However, I will say, I said it earlier this offseason. People got upset when I said it, but I said it earlier this offseason, and I stand by it here still to this day. I don't give a damn how much you guys like Travis Hunter. I don't give a damn how much the community likes Travis Hunter. I like Travis Hunter, but Marvin Harrison Jr. would be the wide receiver 1 in this class. Point blank, period. That's just the way that I'm seeing it. To be honest, Malik Neighbors would be, the wide receiver 1 in this class. Trav maybe is in conversation for like wide receiver 4 last year, wide receiver 3. You can debate if you want between Rome and Trav, but I still think I might lean Rome there, by the way. That said, Marvin, I would take him as high as the 102. I think if you're having a conversation between Marvin and Genty, you probably from a market standpoint, you want to take Genty because he's probably going to be worth more in the market right now. But outside of that, give me Marvin Harrison. And like I said, that second round pick and the third round pick, they don't mean anything because it's just little move arounds in that same round. And it's only like a couple picks, so they don't matter to me. Fair deal. You can decide who you want between Travis or Marvin or Tet or whoever. But I personally, if I have to look at all of those guys and I'm in a startup draft and I have to draft one of them on my team in a startup, Marvin's the first guy off the board for me.
Yeah, I agree, man. I think this, it feels good to have a trade that we had so much clarity on the minute we seen it. I think we were both thinking the same exact thing. As
just
soon
cross
as
that,
we seen
cross the extra shit
take
out.
Take those extra picks out. Yeah, put that first. Put that pick one of the guys slotted to go in 103 and go from there.
Yep. All right, let's move on to the next trade. We got a 12-team super flex, full PPR. You get a whole point for the tight end premium, making it 2 points per reception for the tight ends. It's a half point per first down, and then it's start 12. This team is in win now mode. That's A-Rod's team. He says he's in win now mode. So he trades away Rashee Rice, a 26 first, a 27 second, and a 26 fourth. He gets Nico Collins and Kyler Murray. How do you feel about that in a win now type of league?
I know what side I'm picking, and I know what side you picking. We're both picking Kyler Murray and Nico. There's no way you're not picking that side. That's like two of your favorite fantasy players. I agree with you in this instance. I mean, that 26 first, that's cool. That 26 fourth and that 27 seconds, like irrelevant at this moment in time. So Rashee Rice and the 26 first for Kyler Murray and Nico Collins, that's an open and shut case to me.
Well, the way that I look at it is like, if I made you pick today between, Nico and Rashee Rice in a 27 second, you're probably taking Nico, right?
Yeah.
So then if I say Rashee in the 26 first and Nico, feels a little bit more close, right?
Yeah, but I still might probably lean Nico by a slight edge.
I think so. Yeah. So if you just did that and you took Nico out and Rashee in the first out, Kyler Murray for a second and a fourth, hell yeah. Give me that all day long. We're not even debating this anymore. So, and that's even if you just want to be fair, or you want to be lower on Nico Collins and higher on Rashee Rice. If you just did Nico for Rice in the second, you take those out and it's Kyler Murray for a random 26 first. Yeah, I'm still taking Kyler Murray, especially the 12-team super flex. The points per first down too. We know how many times Kyler Murray's going to rush for a first down. Guys like Nico Collins are chain movers. Rashee Rice is a chain mover as well, so we can't discredit that. But at the end of the day, dude, like, win now. You can take those picks and give me Kyler Murray because I'm plugging him in my lineup as my QB2, and he's going to give me spike weeks, where he gives me QB1 numbers. And Nico Collins, in my opinion, after that list of guys we talked about earlier, where it's Neighbors, Lamb, and Amon-Ra, Nico belongs in that next tier, and he might be at the top of that tier sitting there with Puka. Like, those are the guys at that next spot from me.
Yeah. I mean, this is another one. Pretty open and shut to me, man.
Hell yeah. All right, let's move on to the next one. That one's pretty easy. We got a 12-team super flex, full PPR, no tight end premium, start 10. Jaws says he was deep at QB, so he moved Michael Penix. This is what I was talking about, man. Michael Penix, Keon Coleman, a 26 first and the 201 this year get moved, and you get Amon-Ra St. Brown in the 208 this year. This is kind of what I'm saying, man, where it just feels like Amon-Ra is undervalued. Every league is undervaluing Amon-Ra St. Brown, so I'll let you take it from here, though. Like, how would you break this down, and where do you feel?
This is pretty much just another version of the trade we seen earlier, except for this time, instead of Diggs, you're getting a player that might be a bust. So
You talking about Keon?
Yeah. Let me just state this right off bat. I'm taking an Amon-Ra in the second side easily. How would I break this down? Well, obviously the intent here is that Keon Coleman should be thrown in here because, you're trading away. Because that's how a lot of people think, okay, I'm trading away a wide receiver, so let me make sure a wide receiver is in the deal coming back. Keon Coleman should not be that guy, bro. He should not be that guy. Like, I don't need you to come back. Even for the good comedy that he provides, I don't need you to come back. I mean, really, if I wanted to desperately convince myself in this trade, I'll have to convince myself that I think Michael Penix is going to be like in the upper echelon of fantasy quarterbacks, which I don't believe. I think he might be serviceable. I don't think he's going to be like, up there like top 5, top 6, like fantasy quarterback. So I'm just doing the mental gymnastics at this point, trying to make this trade work. I mean, I guess you could say, I think all these pieces of their trade, it's hard to break it down when I believe all these pieces that are on one side still doesn't amount to Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like, I mean, you could take all those pieces and just put St. Brown. That's not even to mention the second. So,
I mean,
yeah, man. Look, well, how you thinking on it?
I'm kind of with you on Penix, where I'm like, I'm not a big Penix believer here. Like, I don't think he's gonna be elite. I mean, full disclosure, I mean, people who've been around the channel for a while, like, I wasn't high on Penix in the pre-draft process last year. Like, I had Bo Nix over Michael Penix, and that looks fine now. Like, but I had JJ McCarthy over Penix. Like, Penix was my guy before Spencer Rattler. Like, it was just Spencer Rattler was the next guy after Penix, and I had Penix there. So he got higher draft capital than I thought, and I think he's
way
going to be
higher.
fine. You said what?
I said way higher draft capital than we thought.
Right. But I don't think he's anything special. Like, to me, if I have Michael Penix on my roster right now and where the market is at on these two guys, I understand that there's maybe a little bit more risk with a guy like Tua, but a guy like Penix and Tua, those guys are probably sitting on keep trade cut right now, 10 quarterbacks apart. But I feel like Tua can give you the same weeks as Penix is going to give you. He just may miss some time because he has a concussion. But let's also be clear here. Michael Penix missed a lot of college football time with injuries as well. So he doesn't have a clean bill of health either. I guess getting off of the Penix thing, because I just am not a big Penix fan for the most part. I don't see the ceiling with a guy like Penix. At the end of the day, like, I think if you wanted to be really, really generous, we could say Penix and the first and maybe Keon Coleman. Penix the first and Coleman probably equal Amon-Ra, and then you're swapping, the 201 for the 208. It don't matter. Or maybe you want to say that it's Penix, Coleman. I mean Penix the first and the 201 to use equals Amon-Ra, and then it's Coleman for the 208. Whichever way you want to cut it, I don't really care. The best player in the deal is Amon-Ra St. Brown. You may be able to put this into, a fantasy calc or a keep trade cut or whatever other calculator you guys use out there. You might be able to throw this in there and it'll tell you that the package of players is worth more. But I'll tell you what, that package of players ain't scoring more points in your fantasy football lineups than Amon-Ra St. Brown. And I'll tell you this too. I don't think this year the difference between the 201 and the 208 is that big of a difference. Like, there's players that you can get at the 208, like Cam Scatabo. I've seen Cam Scatabo go there. Guys like Bashal too, and Trey Harris. And then the 201, you're making selections like, Jaden Higgins. Like, what's the difference there between, a lot of these guys? There's not a massive difference, I don't think. So maybe you're drafting a guy like, maybe you get a Colston Loveland, but like, what's the difference between Colston Loveland as a tight end in a non-tight end premium for a guy like Trey Harris? Maybe not massive. At the end of the day though, look, I'm not going to keep sitting on my soapbox. You guys know how I feel. Amon-Ra, that's the player that I want. He's undervalued. Go buy him. I'm going to say it again. He's undervalued. Go buy him. Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's the side I'm taking. But 10 team super flex, full PPR, half-point tight end premium. You got a 6-point passing touchdown, start 10. Familiar face here, rookie in the vet. He submitted a trade. He has received Josh Allen and Brock Bowers. What he gave up? Justin Jefferson, Jordan Love, Bryce Young, and a 26th first-round pick. War, how you feel?
Rookie in the vet, huh? I'm sorry, man. See, now this is very conflicting because I'm always against trading for Justin Jefferson. I'm also against trading away Justin Jefferson. I'm also against trading away Josh Allen, and I'm kind of against trading away Brock Bowers. So I guess I could judge this trade based on the amount of players I feel like I'm against getting traded away. So I got to get this one to rookie in the vet because he has 2 players that I'm against trading away versus 1 player I'm against trading away. So
yeah,
I mean, but it's probably fine though. I mean, okay, let's just all break it down. I'm really looking at Brock Bowers for Justin Jefferson and Josh Allen for Jordan Love, Bryce Young, and the first. I'll tell you right now, Jordan Love, Bryce Young, and the first is not enough for Josh Allen.
Hell no.
In my personal opinion. And I think for the most part, you have to do a ton of mental gymnastics to convince somebody that you're taking Brock Bowers, as great as he is, you're taking Brock Bowers right now over Justin Jefferson when the new head coach of the Raiders and the quarterback does not have a history of feeding the tight end. So yeah, man, I still think I lean Allen and Bowers, man.
Yeah, I mean, the way that I look at it is if I was in a startup today, there's 3 players in this trade that are potentially first-round picks. We know Josh Allen could be going 101, especially in 6-point passing touchdowns. Justin Jefferson, he's a first-round pick. We know that. Brock Bowers, he's probably right there on the fringe of a first-round Dynasty startup pick if he's not already a Dynasty startup pick. And in a tight end premium league, you definitely have a better argument for that as well. I mean, you're getting 2 first-round startup picks potentially here in Josh Allen and Brock Bowers. I love Justin Jefferson, obviously, but Jordan Love, Bryce Young, the first-round pick, it feels like a lot of guys that are fine. They're fine. You're going to be able to plug them into your lineup, and they're going to have solid weeks. The Green Bay Packers and the Jordan Love truthers, they're going to be in the comments saying we're disrespecting Jordan Love. I've seen it every time we talk about Jordan Love. They think we're disrespecting Jordan Love. At the end of the day, like, I don't think Jordan Love is special. I don't think for fantasy football purposes he is elite, and it's going to, like I said, it's going to piss people off that I say that. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. There's just no way I can cut this where I'm not taking Josh fucking Allen. Like, give me Josh Allen and Brock Bowers, bro.
Oh man, and to top it all off, which one of these guys in this trade has a hot fiance that's in one of the hottest movies that came out this year? So like, yeah, man, like, yeah. So I'm taking the Josh Allen side for several reasons. Jordan Love, they gonna say we hate, and they gonna say you're a Vikings fan, I'm a Bears fan, so we're disrespecting Jordan. But it's just call it what it is. I said it.
You know what?
A long ago, made a whole video, had a whole rant about it. It's kind of mid, man. But
let's just, I'm gonna give you guys some statistics that I'm gonna use to back up my take. And it's not, again, don't hear what I'm not saying. I don't think Jordan Love is bad. I'm not saying Jordan Love is bad. I'm just saying Jordan Love is a good, not great quarterback. Like, I don't feel like the difference between a guy like Jordan Love and a guy like Trevor Lawrence is massive. Like, in fact, I had a trade offer hit my inbox the other day, Trevor Lawrence for Jordan Love, straight up 1-for-1. I was going to be giving away Trevor Lawrence. I was going to be getting Jordan Love. I turned it down. Like, I'd rather have Trevor right now based on what has happened this offseason. But at the end of the day, like, I'm looking at this for Jordan Love. You know, the beginning of the career, you can't say much because he kind of just sat on the bench for 2.5, 3 years. He gets there, you know, start in 2023, 17 games, 4,000 yards, 32 touchdowns, 19 fantasy points per game. You know, that's good for a quarterback. He was a top 5 quarterback that year from a fantasy points per game standpoint. However, last year, he's a little bit banged up. I understand he was a little bit banged up. Finishes 16 fantasy points per game, good for 16th overall. So, like, we're looking at 2 years of starting numbers. He was a top 5 guy. He was a top 16 guy. Let's just say, you know, the average there in the middle is he's a top 10 guy, you know, a fringe top 10 guy, top 12 guy every year. I still don't think that that's a big deal to me, because when I'm looking at the quarterback position right now, unless you're Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jaden Daniels, Joe Burrow, am I missing anybody there? Like, unless you're one of those guys, like, you're not an elite difference maker. And then it feels like everybody else, from Justin Herbert to Jordan Love to Trevor Lawrence to whatever, Kyler Murray, all those guys can give you the same type of numbers any given week. Yeah. So it just feels like if you're not one of the top guys, it doesn't matter at this point, because there's so much good quarterback play in the NFL at the moment. And Josh Allen is one of those guys. Brock Bowers is a difference maker at the tight end position. Justin Jefferson, elite as they come, but the other guys, replaceable level production, in my opinion. Jordan Love, you can find a guy who can give you Jordan Love numbers. Bryce Young, you find a guy who gives you Bryce Young numbers. The 26 first, it's the cherry on top to get this deal done so you can walk away with Josh fucking Allen and Brock Bowers. That's the day. That's how it comes out to me. So yeah, give me rookie in the vet here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I just got distracted for a second. I had one of our league mates tell me that. I'm sorry, guy. I got to throw one. Just text me and tell me that DeAndre Swift or Roshan Johnson is the new David Montgomery, Jahmyr Gibbs, and that kind of that put me on stuck.
Fair.
Yeah, man. Andrew said it best, man. I don't think we mince words here at all. You know, Love, Young, even Caleb, all those guys right now, they are good quarterbacks for fantasy football. But then when you look up, you have the gods of fantasy quarterbacks. We're talking about Allen and I guess
Lamar,
Jalen Hurts,
Burrow,
and I guess
I asked if I forgot anybody. You said no. I forgot Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts is up there.
Oh, I thought I could see you said Jaden Daniels. My mind just went to Jalen Hurts, but yeah, man, I think you could just say that right now. And CJ Stroud used to be up there, but you know he fell back to earth with the.
What's the difference between Stroud and Herbert? I don't know. That's where we're at right now in the community. But hey, look, I'm just gonna cut it this way. You guys let me know in the comments down below. Like, this is a big boy trade. Are you siding with the two elite assets?
Josh Allen, bro.
Or are you know, is Bryce Young and Jordan Love enough? They both got first round wide receivers. Who knows? Maybe people like that side of the deal. Obviously somebody did. They accepted this damn trade. But 12 team super flex, full PPR, a full point tight end premium here with a half point per first down. Start 12, win now roster. A-Rod's back at it again with this win now roster. He buys Tyreek Hill, George Kittle in the 210. He trades Jordan Addison, Cortland Sutton, the 205 and the 207. What are you thinking here?
I would have liked to not. It's weird because I feel like Cortland Sutton himself is a win. I feel like Sutton and Addison are win now pieces of themselves, but maybe the person was just looking like Man, this is a hell of a trade. I don't like I feel like a lot of people underrate Addison, to be honest. Like, I tried to put him in a few trades, and people are almost acting like he's like a throw-in asset. And I'm just like,
I've felt that
okay.
way before, and I'll tell you what, I think it's just because Justin Jefferson is on his team. Like, I think that's why people discount him.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because people don't treat T. Higgins like that.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't get it, but okay. But then again, I guess they're probably like, well, T. Higgins has Joe Burrow, so maybe like that's the argument. But
Oh yeah, well,
Addison has Kevin
Jordan Addison has
O'Connell.
JJ McCarthy. We'll see.
Um,
Look, I'll break this down very simple for you, the way that I'm viewing it. The 210, the 207, close enough, same tier, same type of player, cut them out.
Mhm.
It's Tyreek Hill, George Kittle for Cortland Sutton, Jordan Addison, the 205. The way that I see this, in a full point tight end premium where you're getting 2 points per reception from that tight end, that's crazy. That's a lot of points that George Kittle can score you on a week-by-week basis. So I think you're more than able to say that George Kittle and Jordan Addison should at least be equal assets here. You could maybe even argue that Addison in the 205 equals George Kittle, but I think some people will look at the age of George Kittle and push back on that. But at the minimum, you can at least cross off Kittle and Addison based on the production that they can give you. So the way that I'm looking at it is it's Tyreek Hill for Cortland Sutton in the 205. Are you willing to take that gamble that Tyreek bounces back? I think I'm willing to do it. It's risky, especially because he's over on IG posting his second wrist surgeries the other day, but it is what it is. But I'll take Tyreek Hill, George Kittle in the 210 here, especially because you're win now. It's an extra full point for the tight end premium. Yeah, I mean, the format is what makes me lean that way here.
Yeah, man. I think we could kind of I think we both agree on which side we would take. But we could take a little couple seconds to even like kind of address like what the hell is going on in Miami, man. Like, it's like all the fantasy assets over there, unless you want to say Jonnu Smith. I don't even know if Jonnu Smith is still on the team.
He is.
All the fantasy, all the fantasy assets over there are like, maybe except Achan, are like just down. Like, I don't know, man. And a lot of people are saying that like, the coach has lost his luster, man. Love the guy.
He's kind of a one-trick pony, bro. Like, he's kind of a one-trick pony. Like, he had an offense that was gimmicky, in my opinion, and they got figured out, and now they're trying to fix it and figure out what's going on. Also, Tyreek Hill's, older. Tua's not healthy. Like, I think all of those Miami options are going to be suppressed because of last year's season. But to be honest, most of them are probably buys, if we're being real. If you want to, account for them to bounce back to the mean, like Jalen Waddle's a buy, especially with, the Tyreek Hill stuff going on. Like, people should probably be buying Jalen Waddle. I think Tua's a buy. I'll give you another one, dude. In this trade right here, I have felt like George Kittle is one of the more undervalued assets right now in Dynasty. And just like we said with Breece and Amon-Ra, like, if you could go buy Kittle as well, who's suppressed right now, bro, I will tell you what, I'm in a full rebuild on a league. I decided I needed to tear it down to the studs. I need to re-up this whole thing. And so I'm basically selling everything that I own that's, worth a damn. And I'm going to play for 2026 and 2027, hopefully land, an Arch Manning or a Jeremiah Smith or some of these other guys, and just rebuild, starting in 2027 is when we can contend, hopefully. But I'm tearing it down. And I was trying to sell George Kittle, and the offers that I was getting for George Kittle are ridiculous, bro. And
like
it wasn't even
round.
Bro, like, I'll give you like a future 2026 late second round pick if you want it. Like, I don't want that shit. Like, George Kittle is going to score 25 fantasy points per game in that format that we're playing in, and in this format specifically, he might even score more. But it's like, especially now with Debo out of town, Ayuk recovering from the injury, like, anytime's the time to buy George Kittle, it's right now. So I'll tell you what, folks at home, I've been giving you these buys, undervalued veteran superstar type of buys. If you can go buy in your league today, I'll tell you what, if I can see somebody do it, I'll put every single trade in next week's trade review show, if you can do it. But buy Breece, Amon-Ra, and Kittle. If you can get all three of those on your roster, I bet you next year you're a playoff team. I'm just gonna guarantee it that you can be a playoff team next year. And I'll put all 3 of those trades in the next trade episode if you can do it. But those are my 3
I want to
buys.
see that. That's interesting. I like that. Let's see who can do it.
Those are my 3 buys. If I'm coming out of today's episode with anything that I want you guys to go do, it's try and trade for Kittle, try and trade for Amon-Ra, and try and trade for Breece. Only if you're a contending roster. Obviously if you're rebuilding, don't go buy those guys. But if you're a contending roster, go do that shit. I promise you're gonna like it. But let's go on to the next trade here. 12 team Superflex PPR tight end premium. This is the last trade of the video, and they let us know that the picks there are Travis Hunter and Bashal Tutin. So the 106 is Travis Hunter, Bashal Tutin is the 302, obviously. But you had Baker Mayfield, AJ Brown, Jahmyr Gibbs, Travis Hunter, and Bashal Tutin get received. What did you have to give up to get that package? You gave up Justin Jefferson, you gave up Saquon Barkley, you gave up Trevor Lawrence, and you gave up a 2026 second round pick. So this is a big one. There's a lot to kind of take in here, but where do you want to start, War?
You want to hear something crazy? I feel like this trade is fair. When I really break it down. Baker Mayfield, Trevor Lawrence. If you're doing that trade, statistically, I like Baker Mayfield more than Trevor Lawrence, but I do feel like Trevor Lawrence does have age on his side.
Mm-hmm.
He does have age on his side. Then the next easiest thing to break down is Gibbs and Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley obviously outproduced Gibbs this year, but Gibbs is younger. So I feel like you could almost place that as a toss-up to a degree. I would take Gibbs over Saquon, but
yeah, I would too. I think if you really wanted to be, super critical, you could say that the second round in Barkley maybe is Gibbs there.
Yeah. And so then really the hardest part of the deal to break down kind of is AJ Brown and Justin Jefferson. And for their
it's technically like AJ and Travis Hunter
for Justin Jefferson, and that may or may not be pretty damn close.
It's really damn close, and I think
yeah.
if you're, I wish we kind of knew how many starters they had, because that could change the way you feel. I wish we kind of knew if they were a rebuilding or a contending roster, because if you're rebuilding, getting Hunter and Gibbs as the younger assets, maybe that makes you feel better. But then I guess I don't understand why you would trade T-Law for Baker when you have like a 5-year difference in age there. Look, I think this is just, I like your studs and you like my studs, and we're gonna get who we want on our rosters. I think I'm leaning the Justin Jefferson, the Trevor Lawrence, and the Saquon side by a tiny bit, but not enough for me to deem that I think they're a winner of this trade. I think maybe from a value standpoint, I think you're going to probably, again, I said this earlier, but if you plug it into any calculator on the internet, I bet you it probably tells you that there's just a little bit more value going to that Baker Mayfield side. But I think when it comes to putting these guys in your lineups, I think you might like putting Barkley, Jefferson, T-Law into your lineup a little bit more than you like putting Baker, AJ Brown, and Gibbs into your lineup. That's just the way that I feel. Maybe, Travis Hunter becomes this elite superstar. I'm still skeptical as to whether he can reach that upper echelon level of wide receiver, especially with a guy as good as BTJ on the opposite side. I think they complement each other really well. But I think the gap between Jefferson and Brown is big enough to equal that Travis Hunter. I don't know, man. I think the more that I'm talking about it, actually, the more I'm just like, this is a really fucking fair trade. This is a really fair trade. And I think you could go either way. Where are you leaning, bro? Because I'm sitting here talking and I'm like, damn, maybe it is fair.
I think it's fair, man. I think it's fair, dude. When you break it down, obviously, Saquon, I feel like Justin Jefferson is the linchpin in this trade, because I think we're both like, don't trade Justin Jefferson. But I wouldn't tell somebody not to trade Saquon for Gibbs. I wouldn't tell somebody, I might tell
trade
somebody.
T-Law.
Yeah. So and then you get Travis Hunter. I just feel like it's a fair trade.
I'll say this. This is the way that I'll say it. I think there is more value on the Mayfield, Brown, Gibbs, Tutin, Trav side. But I think if I'm a winning team, a contending team, I think I like the ability to plug Saquon and Justin Jefferson into my fucking lineup right now. That's just the way that I view it. But damn, dude, I think the value is actually on the Mayfield side. But the way that I'm flip-flopping here, in a quick, I don't know how long we've been talking about this, in a quick 2 minutes that I've seen the trade and been talking about the trade, that tells me that this is a fair ass trade, and I think you both probably came away very happy.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
All right, man. So I think that's it. That is going to take us to the end of the episode. Just a reminder for you folks at home, if you guys want your Dynasty trades submitted and reviewed in future episodes, we are trying to do this every single week now. You have to go into our Discord. We do have a free Discord linked in the description, and in there is a Dynasty trade trade review channel, and that's where you will submit your Dynasty trades. So if you want your trades reviewed, it's free to join that Discord. Just go in there, submit some trades, give us some context as to the scoring settings, the league format, all of that stuff, maybe your strategy with the deal, and we'll talk about it on a future trade show. The more trades that we get, the better and better the episodes are. So make sure you just keep submitting those trades. Appreciate everybody who's already been doing that. You guys have been killing it in the Discord, so appreciate you. Additionally, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We are getting damn close to 5K, so we want to get to 5K. It would be dope to try and hit that potentially by, the end of May. That would be really cool. I don't know if we'll do it, but if you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, go hit the subscribe button, get us to 5K, and hit the like button if you like this type of comment. That's the best free way to show this channel some support. Hitting the like button helps us in the algorithm, gets this show out to more people so we can accomplish some of those subscriber goals, get more people to join the community in the Discord. Just helps us all around. So if you haven't already, hit the like button. And War, where can they find some of your content at if they want some additional content?
They can find my content on Crimson Mask Pro Wrestling, where we post shorts about WWE, AEW, Pro Wrestling, Crimson Mask, Wrestling, Pro Wrestling with an attitude. Kapow.
Hell yeah, you didn't sound very excited, but I'll give you the pass. I'll give you the pass here, and we can go on to the next one. But hey, look, upcoming week schedule. I do this on every time that we finish the week up. But upcoming week, I'm gonna do a video kind of talking about a rebuilding roster that I've been working on, how I made my rookie picks, trades that I made, getting into the rookie draft, things like that. That'll be on Monday. We got some family stuff that are happening in the middle of the week, so there will be no Wednesday video next week, and then Friday right back for Dynasty trades. So make sure that you guys got those Dynasty trades in the Discord between now and Thursday, because that's when we'll pull the trades. But nothing else for you guys today. Appreciate everybody being here. We'll see you on the next episode. But until then, peace out.